Good evening, everyone. Calling in order the Burbank Unified School District Board of Education regular meeting for Thursday, February 6, 2025. Sorry. Do I have to do the salute of the flag, or do I have to do the flag thing? Where is it? All right. We acknowledge the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of Chumash, Tongva, Fernandio, Tataviam, and the First Nations on which we are learning, educating, and living. Ms. Kano, would you do the Pledge of Allegiance for us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Ms. Cuetiero, please take the roll call at this time.
Member Cano? Member Weisberg?
Present.
Clerk Tabit?
Present.
Vice President Ponser Kamkar?
Here.
President Agakanian?
Present, all the 5 members are here. We have a quorum. Item 5, reporting on closed session. There's no reports or any actions taken. 6, adjustments to the agenda. Any of my colleagues or members? Yes, Dr. Paramo.
Yes, sir. I would like the board to consider pulling item 10A. It's the OutCap presentation, and I will bring it back at our next board meeting.
Are my colleagues okay with that?
Yeah, during your superintendent report, I would love it if you could talk a little bit more in depth about why we're pulling it this evening.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And yes, Ms. Vice President Kamkar.
I have a new item for future meetings.
Okay, so are we done with the item 10A? All right, Vice President Kamkar?
Yeah, I was hoping we could agendize a discussion of items for our future joint meeting with City Council, so that we've got some discussion among the board about that before we take a proposed agenda to them.
I think that's a great idea. And my colleagues? Yes, Clerk Tabit.
I don't have an issue with that, so to speak. I don't think we've ever done it that way. It's usually the board president and vice president who come up with that, so.
I understand that it hasn't been done
Yeah,
that way
that
in the past. I kind of like the idea. I mean, I think what we could do is, as Dr. Pramo's having conversations with folks, you can bring up possible agenda items to him, and then we have a list from which to work. But the way that agenda items kind of just came about last time without a lot of input from the board, I'd like to avoid. So I'd like to get some buy-in from my fellow board members before we propose a agenda to the city.
Heartily agree. Heartily agree.
I do also think if we're going to spend that valuable time, the joint meeting, which I like to discuss further about doing it at least twice a year if we can. I know we do it one time, but that's another discussion. But it is important to have the items discussed before so we can get the most out of the meeting. All right. Anything else? Also, there is a correction. The resolution number for item 11B should be resolution 22, not XX. So thank you. All right. Now for public communications, any individual or group representative present this evening may address, reports from board and staff, sorry. We have our students' representatives. Why don't we start with Haik Sambatian this time from Monterey High School. Haik, you're going first this time.
Good evening, Board President Agakanian, distinguished members of the Board, Superintendent Paramo, district staff, and our audience. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you today. I am thrilled to share that the recent accomplishments and exciting events happening at Monterey High School. First, I am proud to announce the startup of a new round of student council members. These dedicated students are taking change and having already planned a wonderful origami workshop led by our very own Dylan Salcedo. Their initiative and enthusiasm are truly inspiring. We have also hosted another ping pong tournament, which was a huge success. Congratulations to Tigran Mikaelian for winning the tournament. It's heartening to see such active participation and sportsmanship from our students. Our art teacher, Ms. Jeanette Elliott, along with students in her ceramics classes, are organizing a Valentine's Day fundraiser. They are crafting ceramics hearts to raise funds for additional art supplies. This effort does not only showcase their artistic talents, but also their commitment to supporting our school community. Another exciting opportunity for our students is our collaboration with the Destiny Education Project for their peer-to-peer reading program. Monterey High School students will have the chance to read to younger students in our community, celebrating the diverse makeup of our neighborhood and fostering a love for reading. More information to come. Lastly, our seniors have been participating in a scholarship class where they have been working diligently on enrollment processes, letters of recommendation, and benefiting from a guest speaker from the Burbank Council PTA. This class is equipping our seniors with the tools they need to succeed beyond high school. These events and initiatives highlight the incredible spirit, talent, and dedication of our students and staff at Monterey High School. We are committed to fostering an inclusive and enriching environment for all of our students. Thank you for your continued support and for allowing us to share these wonderful achievements with you.
Wait, any questions for my, yes, board member Connor.
The Valentine hearts, how are those going to be sold, or how do people?
Well, I've seen that they give out these forms that you could fill out. You get to customize it however you want, and the students over there make it.
Yeah, is it possible you can provide, I was going to ask the same question, by the way. Is it possible you can provide us the form, because some of us would like to participate? The chocolate is not working anymore, so maybe we'll go see.
Yeah, sure. If you want, I will email you guys the forms today when I get home.
Thank you. And for
Thank you.
our viewers, this is your second time, right?
Yep.
You're doing a fantastic job.
All right.
Looks like
thank
a
you so
lawyer,
much.
sounds like a lawyer, doesn't it?
Thank you so much.
I'm
I
sorry.
appreciate it.
Okay, now this time we're gonna now go to Rose Elengesian from Burbank High School.
Good evening, Superintendent Paramo, esteemed board members, President Dr. Aga Kanyan, Vice President Cam Card, Board Clerk Tabet, Board Member Weisberg, and Board Member Kano, and all attendees. It is my distinct honor to address you this evening and provide the latest updates regarding Burbank High School. This week, we celebrated our Winter Season Spirit Week, which has been a fantastic experience for everyone. Today, students participated in Dress as Your Favorite Character, accompanied by a fun lunchtime activity called Finish That Lyric. Tomorrow, we encourage everyone to wear Disney ears or accessories to end the Spirit Week off in true Disney style. Additionally, yesterday was a remarkable day for Burbank. Our UCLA blood drive went smoothly and successfully. Furthermore, our boys basketball team had an impressive victory against Burroughs with the final score of 57-42. Looking ahead, we will host our senior showcase at 7 p.m. this Friday and Saturday. Moreover, our senior class is organizing a movie night on February 21st at 7 p.m. The options for the movie night are Enchanted and The Princess Diaries, and polls have been posted to determine the final selection. Lastly, we are excited to announce that the theme for the class of 2025 prom will be The Great Gatsby, which will take place at the Belasco Theater. Additionally, the junior class will be launching their Valentine's Day Grams fundraiser starting tomorrow, embracing the spirit of love. Thank you for all your attention, and I look forward to sharing more updates in the future. Any questions?
Any questions? I vote Enchanted, if that matters. Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you for your, sorry. No, well, you know. Now we have from John Burroughs High School, Lala Nestor.
Hello and good evening, President Agakanian, distinguished board members, Superintendent Paramo, district staff, and members of the Burbank community. It's an honor to present my report to you this evening. Yesterday, ASB held our winter pep rally, where we were thrilled to recognize our winter sports teams and give them the appreciation they deserve. Our Super Mario-themed games were a hit. Moving on to drama news, make sure to check out Big Fish, an extraordinary musical that reminds us why we love going to the theater, for an experience that's richer, funnier, and bigger than life itself. Showtimes are February 7th and 8th at 7 p.m. and February 9th at 12 p.m. Now, I'd like to follow up on some points from my last report. I've gathered specific feedback on the cell phone policy as requested. I asked students and teachers around campus for their thoughts, and I'm pleased to share that the responses were overwhelmingly positive. Teachers reported that students are more engaged, less distracted, and even socializing more. Many expressed how great it is to see students actually talking to one another before the bell rings, rather than being drawn to their screens. Students shared that they don't even miss having their phones and have noticed themselves spending less time on them outside of school as well. As time passes, fewer students are using their phones during passing periods and more face-to-face conversations are taking place. Overall, the policy has been adapted in a positive way. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions or clarifications?
Yes, Vice President Kamkar.
I just want to say thank you for going out and getting some information from your colleagues at school. It's really great to hear that it's being adopted successfully. What's your experience been like?
I actually think that it's a very good thing to be set in place. At first, I was a little apprehensive, but now I understand, and I don't even have to charge my phone every day. It's like every other day, or sometimes every 2 days. I went home today and it was at 85%, which is crazy
kind of
to me.
amazing, yeah.
I go to bed and it's at 70%. So I think that I think it's been a very good thing because I even go home and I don't even go on it. There's apps that I don't even use anymore, and so I think that it's a very positive thing. So
It's very cool to hear. Thanks.
You have to teach me how not to be so neurotic that when my phone gets to 82%, I'm like, I have to charge it. It's not at 100. Just thank you for following up and giving it. That's such helpful feedback for us. And if you continue to hear more, just sort of anecdotally, positive or negative about that or anything, I mean, you've come with a lot of really helpful, not just the phone, but also some of the other issues on campus, the bathrooms. And so please keep sharing. It's really useful to us. So thank you.
of course.
Any of my colleagues? Yes, Dr. Paramo.
I'm not sure if you were going to share, but we did get some feedback from parents at PTSA meeting on Tuesday night. And a parent was very, very gracious and grateful that the district did this. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that cracked me up is that the parent says that they are no longer getting all these text messages from their kids during the middle of the day, and it's absolutely wonderful. And I could not stop laughing. That was really hilarious to me. But if this is forcing kids to be more interactive and less on the phone and more socializing, I think this is a big win for us.
I have a question, Ms. Nestor. So how did you gather the data? Did you do did you just talk to people? Was it a survey?
Well, I asked my ASB class during one of our meetings, and then I had them ask their friends, and then they kind of all brought little reports, and then I just went around to some of my teachers, and then how teachers have buddies, so then they would ask their buddies, and then I went around and they didn't want me to say their names or anything, but it was some of my teachers and then other teachers that were friends with them. So.
And you have this is written data that we can.
Yeah, I have it on a Google Doc.
And the reason I say this is a couple of reasons. I hope other schools are also maybe will look at this as well, because I want to see what's happening in Burbank and also Monterey, but also I think it's if we can get. I don't know if you can get extra credit for doing all this extra work. If it's, you never know, right? I mean.
Well, I certainly wouldn't mind, but teachers might take exception if we're giving them extra credit that they did not approve. So.
other than that, thank you very much. Really appreciate all
Yes.
you do.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we are going to 8B, our Burbank Teachers Association representative. I don't see is our representative from CSEA here? No. Nor do we have from BTA, right? I mean BASA, sorry. All right. Well, thank you. Let's move to 8C, reports from the superintendent. Dr. Parama.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'd like to take an opportunity to focus my comments tonight about our upcoming LCAP presentation and to explain the public why I made the request to pull it until our next board meeting. I want to assure everyone that we have been working diligently on the LCAP plan since the beginning of the school year. We were definitely ready to go today. What has occurred over the last several days is a considerable amount of emails with questions and concerns about the LCAP and potential cuts from LCAP and potential additions to LCAP. So instead of moving forward, what I realized is that maybe we need to go a little slower. And what that means for me is that by moving the LCAP presentation to the next board meeting, it allows me the opportunity to meet with the union leadership for both the Teachers Association and the Classified Association. It also allows me to meet again with our intervention specialists, which is where most people seem to have concerns. I will share with the public that I met with CSEA leadership yesterday, along with our district team. And today at 3:30, the district team met with the Burbank Teachers Association. I think that the meetings were very, very productive. I think they were clearly very important for me. It allowed me to hear more from our union representation on what their concerns are, and for me to be able to answer clarifying questions. I can tell you that I have met twice with the behavior interventionists over the last 6 or 7 weeks, and I have no problem with meeting with these folks again. I want all of them to know that I appreciate them very much. I've known most of them for many years. I think they have been an asset to our kids. I think they work very hard. So it's important for me that they feel heard no matter what happens. So I think we have a scheduled meeting for Thursday. So I will be meeting with them on Thursday. And I'll have their feedback and their input, and I'll answer any questions they have before we actually put on the presentation at our next board meeting. Please understand that at the next board meeting, it is an update. It's not, nobody's voting on anything. No action is being taken. The report is to help the community understand where we are in the process of developing an LCAP budget. It's a presentation. We will speak about what we have, the meetings we've already had, what has been discussed, where we're landing, and what are proposed or recommended cuts or additions. It's not official. Those aren't official. It's allowing the public to know where we are and what we're thinking and why. And it allows for the board to ask questions and for us to clarify. It's also an opportunity for the board to provide direction, and we will be prepared to do that. And so I hope that explains the reason for the postponement, and I look forward to meeting with our intervention specialist next Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Parama. All right. Item 9, request to address the board, public communications on agenda items or any subjects within the jurisdiction of the school board. Any individual or group representative present this evening may address the Board of Education on any agenda item or any subject within the jurisdiction of the school board by completing a white request card and turning it to Ms. Cointero. Speakers are requested to state their name prior to speaking to the board. No more than 5 minutes may be allowed to each speaker except by unanimous consent of the Board of Education. The superintendent may refer to the matter to the proper department for review. The district is providing alternative to in-person attendance for viewing and participating. At this time, do we have any virtual speakers? No, we don't. I have one card from Laura Strobe. Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. I am Laura Strobel, and I am a member of the Burbank Human Relations Council. I'm a board member, and I'm here to speak to Resolution 21. The Burbank Human Relations Council is a community-based organization that was founded in 1958, and we seek to foster good human relations by promoting a culture of fair treatment, inclusion, and by promoting universal respect for human rights, civil liberties, and a fundamental freedom. Our board voted unanimously to support Resolution 21, proclaiming all student equal access to education regardless of immigration status. Our group met with Dr. Paramo this summer to pledge our commitment to partner with the school district to spread the message that hate has no home in Burbank schools. BHRC envisions the city of Burbank as a beloved community in which all people can live in peace, free from fear, oppression, hunger, and hate. And we believe that for all people, especially our children. Our students deserve a safe and secure learning environment, and we support this resolution that commits to reassuring our community that no child should come to school in fear, and no parent should ever fear for their child's safety while pursuing their education. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Any questions?
It's not, we will be responding.
Okay. Oh, you'll be
Thank you.
responding. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. That's the only card I have. Superintendent's comment?
I absolutely appreciate and love working with your organization. You have been so amenable to working together on promoting an environment that we can all be proud of. We have a common interest of making sure that all our kids feel safe. I think the resolution, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. It makes perfect sense to me why we would do it. I think that my colleagues in other districts have shared that they felt that Burbank was very brave for doing what we're doing. I didn't really understand that comment because it seems pretty normal for us to state the obvious. But not everybody agrees. And that's okay. I will always do whatever I can to protect our kids because they're important and because we need them to be protected and because adulting should be left to adults and kids should not be in the mess of all that. They should be focused on their studies and what's going on in their social life at school. They should be concerned about who they're going to take to the prom, and they should not have to worry about any of this stuff. And I think that this reaffirms that commitment we have.
Thank you, Superintendent Paramo. Dr. Weisberg.
Sure. Thank you. It was really powerful. I know Dr. Agakanian, I'm sure, will say something similar, to stand with BHRC at the city council meeting. Was it last week?
Yes.
Oh, time's a flat circle.
It was.
And it was powerful because there were so many people there who were, I think, showing the best part of who we are as a community. I think the irony is that, what we're doing is wholly constitutional. It is in the California State Constitution that all of our students, regardless of immigration status, do receive education. And I think we're adding to that by saying a safe, supportive, inclusive education at that. And I can't think of a time in recent history where that's been more important to reaffirm every day, as long as we need to, than right now. So I feel specifically lucky to be serving with a unified board And I do want to take a quick moment to commend Mayor Perez on spearheading the resolution at City Council, facing some pretty stiff opposition from members of that council. I can't imagine how difficult that is for her, but I'm proud that from the top to the bottom, I think it was former President Obama who said you set the tone at the top. And so I think from the board down, clear across, because I don't like to think of it as a down, but just a clear across, all of us are united in making sure that our students, our staff, our teachers, and our families feel safe and okay, as we can all feel safe and okay right now, sending their kiddos to school. So it's really an honor to align with BHRC and know that you've got our backs too, and in turn you have our students' backs. So thank you to you and to Ms. Abasta, Ms. Wirtz, and everybody who's part of the BHRC team, former Mayor Ramos, and we look forward to continued partnership, but thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Kano?
I can't get too far into this because it's just it's emotional to hear for me. But I just have to say, I don't want to sit and pat us on the back because for me, I think we did what was just right. As a teacher, I'm, in the classroom, and every, quarter I've got to learn how to shield my children from a possible somebody coming in and, and shooting en masse, and how to save them if we've got earthquakes and fires. So, I mean, we're that's what we do. We take care of kids. That's it.
Vice President Panzer Kamkar.
I just wanted to say thank you, Mr. Robel, to you and to the Burbank HRC for kind of continued support, right? I don't think any of us foresaw this when you guys met with Dr. Paramo over the summer, but it's much appreciated for you to come out and support the resolution and for you to just be so supportive of our kids. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Robel, thank you very much. We'll wait. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Robel, thank you very much for your kind words, delivered so elegantly. Those of you who know me, I always have the BHRC lawn sign, no matter what, elections, not elections, I don't care. That sign stays there till the wind blows it away or something, which a recent wind did. So thank you for giving me another one. It's a beautiful sign. And when I say hate has no home here in Burbank, I mean it, but it's also on the sign that I have in front of my house in different languages, by the way. And it's very unfortunate in today's world with internet where we all feel so connected, we have to bring forward resolutions that talk to prevent division, to prevent hate, At one point, I thought we're all going to be connected and there are no borders anymore, but I guess it's very unfortunate. To me, this hits home very close. My family was separated. I had to walk away because of war and hatred, and it's difficult. I still have the fear of being separated from my parent. I lived that for many, many years. Even though I was here legally and everything was fine and we were getting our paperwork through, I remember clearly every time I would see law enforcement, I would be scared. Every time my mother saw law enforcement, she'll be scared. Or even though, again, and people don't understand that, this country was built on individuals who were oppressed, individuals who were not welcomed and treated equally. So sometimes maybe we should go back and revisit our history in a sense, right? And remind people that our job as educators is to make sure, as Dr. Paramo said, to students to worry about their homework, or are they going to take the prom, or which movie like Enchanted pick for their choice of, So thank you for all you do, because we need that. Thank you for, also putting all these wonderful events. Those of you who didn't go to the MLK event, it was fantastic. You want to see what Burbank is, you want to see how united we are, come to those events. See our families and communities come together and talk about, the dream. So thank you for all you do, and please thank all your members. My colleagues did mention some of the names. You do a wonderful job. And I look forward to more events and more collaborations. Ms. Tabbitt, do you want to?
Well, she said, thanked you for coming. I appreciate it. And we're lucky that we have such a strong Burbank Human Relations Council, and all the wonderful people who take time and energy to help educate the rest of our community on the acceptable behaviors and not. So I know it's a good thing, and I appreciate all of you. So thanks for coming down.
And by the way, love the new logo. Thank you, Romik, for the new logo. And those of you who don't know, there's a website. You can always support the organization there. Thank you very much. We did pull 10A. Now we're going to 11, new and unfinished business. 11A, adoption of Resolution 21 proclaiming that all students will have equal access to education regardless of immigration status.
President Agakanian.
Dr. Weisberg.
I move that we, oh my goodness, it just disappeared. I move that we approve Resolution 21 as presented.
Second.
That one will go to Ms. Cano. We have a motion by Dr. Weisberg and second by Ms. Cano. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Dr. Weisberg, please read the resolution.
Certainly. Resolution 21 proclaiming that all students will have equal access to education regardless of immigration status. Whereas all students have a right to attend school free of bullying, intimidation, and discrimination. Whereas the Burbank Unified School District is committed to fostering an inclusive, equitable, and supportive educational environment for all students. Whereas the United States Supreme Court in Plyer v. Doe, 1982, affirmed that no child should be denied access to public education based on their immigration status, recognizing the fundamental role of education in a child's development and future success. Whereas the BUSD Board of Education acknowledges the diversity of its student population and the unique contributions that students from various backgrounds bring to the school community. Whereas the BUSD Board of Education is dedicated to upholding the principles of non-discrimination and equal opportunity as outlined in its policies, which prohibit discrimination based on immigration status, among other characteristics. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the BUSD Board of Education reaffirms its commitment to providing all children, regardless of their immigration status, with equal access to a high-quality education. Be it further resolved that the BUSD Board of Education will ensure that all district policies, practices, and procedures are in compliance with federal and state laws protecting the rights of students to receive an education without discrimination based on immigration status. Be it further resolved, in order to provide a public education regardless of a child's or family's immigration status, absent any applicable federal, state, local law or regulation, local ordinance, or court decision that may lawfully provide otherwise, the district shall act consistent with the following practices. District personnel shall not treat students differently from residency determination purposes on the basis of their actual or perceived immigration status, and shall treat all students equitably in the receipt of all school services for which they are eligible. District personnel shall not inquire about a student's immigration status or require documentation of a student's legal status, such as asking for a visa or passport during enrollment or at any other time. District personnel shall review the list of documents that are currently used to establish residency and shall ensure that any required documents would not unlawfully bar or discourage a student who is undocumented or whose parents are undocumented from enrolling in or attending school. District personnel shall neither require students to apply for Social Security cards nor require students to provide a Social Security number, passport, or visa. District personnel shall not allow any immigration enforcement officer or agent to enter a school site without first signing in with the school administration and making a request to enter campus, and shall forward any request by immigration enforcement agents to enter a school site, including for services of lawful subpoenas, petitions, complaints, warrants, etc., to the superintendent's office for review in consultation with district legal counsel. District personnel, when encountering immigration enforcement agents who are on school grounds on account of urgent or exigent circumstances, shall direct them to the school office and alert an administrator to contact the superintendent's office and legal counsel. District personnel shall immediately send all requests by immigration enforcement agents for information or documents to the superintendent, who, in consultation with district legal counsel, shall consider all legally permissible actions that may be taken to respond to such requests to protect the privacy rights of students and their families. District personnel shall not enter into any agreement with ICE to enforce federal immigration law and shall not participate in any ICE or Border Patrol enforcement activities. District personnel, as designated by the superintendent, along with district legal counsel, shall review the impact of any changes in federal immigration laws, state laws, and policies or programs that may impact students, and develop solutions aimed at preventing and/or mitigating the impact on both students and employees that may arise from the collection of, storage of, or access to any personally identifiable information for immigration enforcement purposes. District personnel shall take all reasonable measures so that after-school program providers and other service providers that have access to student or family information will also follow the actions described herein. Be it further resolved that the superintendent and district leadership team will provide training and resources to staff to support the implementation of this resolution and to foster an inclusive and welcoming environment for all students. Be it further resolved that the superintendent and district leadership team will engage with community partners, parents, and students to promote awareness and understanding of the rights of all students to access education regardless of immigration status. Be it finally resolved that the BUSD Board of Education will monitor and review the implementation of this resolution to ensure its effectiveness and to make any necessary adjustments to better serve the needs of all students.
Thank you, Dr. Weisberg, for that articulate and clear delivery. And I also want to thank Superintendent Dr. Paromo and his admin team for putting this out. I can tell you that I had many parents who, when they saw the message, they were calm and because they were scared. Yeah. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for putting these cards also out there. This means a lot to a lot of members of our community.
Can I say one thing?
Yes,
As superintendent, the community hears from me at board meetings because of my position. And so they know where I stand on these issues. What I want to make sure is that the community understands that the entire district cabinet feels the same way, and that it was actually Dr. Macias who was instrumental in putting that resolution together. So I want to thank him and give him credit where credit is due.
Thank you. And I also want to thank my colleagues for unanimously supporting this and being, there. And also our mayor again. Thank you. 11B. Oh, we did vote.
We didn't vote.
Yeah, we did.
Voted?
Yeah, we voted.
Oh, cool. Good time.
Yes. 11B, adoption of Resolution 22, proclaiming the month of February 2025 in recognition of National Black History Month.
So moved.
This one goes to Clerk Tabet.
Second.
Second by Vice President Ponser Kamkar. Can we have all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. That passes unanimously. The motion carries as amended. Ms. Clerk Tabet, please read the resolution.
You probably had it. I should have let you take it.
You can always have her read it.
Proclaiming the month of February 2025 in recognition of National Black History Month. Whereas the first event was celebrated during a week in February 1926, encompassing the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, two key figures in history, of African Americans. Whereas in 1976, the week-long celebration was extended to the entire month of February. And whereas National Black History Month is a national tradition established in response to the inadequate and oftentimes biased depiction of Black history and African American communities in history books and schools curricula of the era. And whereas Black citizens help develop our nation in countless ways, those recognized, unrecognized, and unrecorded. And whereas the contributions of Black citizens and scientists, inventors, educators, farmers, homemakers, and explorers of earth and sky have been recognized annually during National Black History Month. And whereas Black citizens have participated and continue to in every American effort to secure, protect, and maintain the essence and substance of American democracy. And whereas National Black History Month is a vehicle to promote cultural relevant activities like the many events planned at district school sites, college campuses, public libraries, businesses, and nonprofits throughout the Burbank area that will offer excellent opportunities to focus the energy, attention, commitment, and action of the entire community on closing health, opportunity, and achievement gaps for Black students and families. And whereas not only during the month of February 2025, but throughout the remainder of this year, it is important that we as a district seek to understand how to thoughtfully and holistically address African American disparities in information sharing and outcomes in order to move towards greater equity in our educational system and the greater community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Burbank Unified School District Board of Education does hereby recognize February 2025 as Black History Month and supports the important work and services provided by schools throughout the district and organizations throughout the nation. Be it further resolved that the superintendent will encourage all schools in the Burbank Unified School District to recognize and celebrate National Black History Month through cultural relevant activities and programming.
Thank you, Clerk Tabbitt. Dr. Macias, I believe we have one of our wonderful guests here tonight with us.
We do, as we've done in the past. We have leaned on our experts, our library coordinators, and tonight I'd like to welcome to our podium Ms. Judith Anuzine from our wonderful library coordinator from Stevenson Elementary.
Thank you very much. In celebration of Black History Month and in support of this month's district resolution, the BUSD library coordinators are proud to present a selection of books honoring Black history. These books offer powerful stories.
Let me get the presentation. Can we get the presentation shared?
Sure.
There we go.
There we go. These books offer powerful stories, diverse perspectives, and a rich tapestry of experiences that will resonate with everyone. This is just a glimpse of the many wonderful books available. We encourage you to explore and discover even more. For our youngest readers, we love Christian Robinson's wordless picture book, Another. It invites young readers to explore the power of imagination and see the world through different eyes. The stunning illustrations provide space for children to create and imagine their own stories and worlds. We also love Nina, the story of Nina Simone by Tracy N. Todd and illustrated by Christian Robinson. This book introduces young readers to the life and music of a pivotal figure in both music and civil rights movement. This book beautifully portrays Simone's journey from a child prodigy to a powerful voice against racial injustice. Our middle school readers will love Fast Pitch by Nick Stone. This is a powerful story about overcoming adversity, finding your voice, and the enduring power of family. The story follows Shanice Lockwood, the captain of her all-black softball team, as she navigates racial prejudice, family secrets, and the self-doubt that jeopardizes her team's championship hopes. Fast Pitch will inspire you to never give up on your dreams. Tanita S. Davis's historical fiction novel, Mare's War, is an excellent choice for high school students. Told through the alternating perspectives of a 15-year-old Octavia and her grandmother Mare, who served in the all-black 688 Battalion during World War II. The novel explores intergenerational bonding and fills a crucial gap in historical knowledge and the contributions of black women in the war. And there's a movie, too. Yes, so worth watching. Our last selection is Black Enough, edited by National Book Award finalist Ibi Zaboy. This is a powerful collection of short stories offering unique and insightful perspectives on the experience of being young and Black in America today. Featuring some of today's most acclaimed best-selling Black authors for teens, each story is masterfully crafted and brimming with complex, relatable characters whose struggles will resonate deeply with teen readers. Again, these are just a few of the many books available celebrating the rich history and culture of African Americans. We hope that you will visit the school or public libraries and check them out. Thank you.
Thank you. And my colleagues, Dr. Weisberg.
Just a quick thank you and a reminder to people watching that this will go up on the website so that people will be able to see, read, and remember all the amazing recommendations that you've just made. So we know it's adding to your day of work or your week of work, but we're really appreciative.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great job.
and
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ms. Judith Anazin, did I say it right? Thank you. Yeah. So now that our students are using less cell phones, according to the report, maybe they should spend more time in the library reading all these wonderful books, right? Thank you. Thank you very much for the wonderful report, and thank you for all these books. All right. 11C, acceptance of notice of completion, migration of district-wide video surveillance system, AMS and ET. Mr. Cantwell.
This is a notice of completion. Both this agenda item and the next are intertwined. One, though, is being funded by the adult school. That's our next agenda item. This one is being funded by bond funds. We've been making a significant investment in the video technology across our district. We installed approximately 75 video cameras at Burroughs last year, 30 additional at Burbank High to pair with what they already had. However, their old system really did not meet the needs of the site. And as we explored options with Burroughs, we realized that there was some great technology out there. Video technology has come a long way just in the past few years. The ability to actually track individual visitors or individuals from one camera to another. If we can zone in on an individual and be able to track those movements, greater clarity and visibility to be able to ensure that we know, again, when there is necessary to review those cameras. So we had to make a migration over to the new system, and so that's what these funds are. It's not the actual installation of cameras, but rather the migration of the system into our new system.
Any questions? No. Can I get a motion to, okay, thank you.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Vice President Panzer-Kamkar and Dr. Weisberg for the migration of the district-wide video surveillance system by AMS.net not to exceed $77,003.96. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, motion carries 5-0. Aye. Thank you very much for that report, Mr. Cantwell. 11D, acceptance of notice of completion of migration video surveillance system, Burbank Adult School. Mr. Cantwell.
This is just that second piece, and again, the reason it's differentiated is the funding source. This is not a bond project, but rather being funded from the robust fund balance which they currently have over at Adult School.
All right, can I get a motion for the migration of the video surveillance system of Burbank Adult School by AMS.net not to exceed $10,770.90 as presented? Okay, moved by Clerk Tabbitt and seconded by Vice President Panzer-Kamkar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously. 11E, approval of board representation on district, community, and committee groups for 2025. So I was looking at this, there's still some old board members.
Yeah, this is definitely out of date.
Yeah. So can we go one by one on this and then pick who wants to serve on what? Because we still have an old board member on this.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just had to clarify.
This is the previous years.
No, I
Yes.
understand. Just for the viewers, I had to kind of
Yeah.
clarify it.
So if people are like, why is Miss Cano not on here? Because she wasn't a board member yet.
And normally, just to refresh your memory, because I know you've been through here.
Yes.
We do go committee by committee and sort of.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so everyone, let's start with, can open it now. Thank you.
The first one is Burbank Arts and Education
Yeah,
Foundation.
Okay, so Burbank Arts and Education Foundation, I have been part of this in the past. I am still happy to continue, but anyone else wants to join?
Yes,
Who wants to, or you want to, just two of you want to do
Sure.
it now?
sure.
All right, so is everyone okay for Clerk Tabbitt and our new board member, Ms. Cano, to be the representatives for the Burbank Arts and Education Foundation?
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have to vote on this, by the way?
I think we voted the end.
At the end. Okay, Cindy, you're taking, okay, thank you. District Level English Learner Advisory Committee, I've always been interested in this. In the past, I also had Vice President Ponzer Kamkar and Dr. Weisberg.
I mean, I've been going to the meetings.
I have not, so
Nor have
I would love to be taken off of this, not because I think it's not important, but because I have not been accountable for going.
If you don't go, I mean, if Dr. Weisberg or I don't show up, you can go. That's what-
So she could be alternate then, right?
Yes.
That's fine.
So how about me and Dr. Weisberg, and then you be an alternate?
That's fine.
Sure.
All right. Five Star Coalition, I've been attending this with Clerk Tabbitt. Is that okay if we continue?
I would like to continue. The problem, well, it's not a problem, I apologize.
No.
But they meet during the daytime.
Yeah, I can't do it Fridays. I teach Friday morning now. So that's, I mean, I did it last because the classes haven't started, but next week it starts, so I can.
Well,
And for now, they do it via Zoom, but they're talking about
Yeah.
once or twice a year to do it in person.
That schedule is not a problem for me currently. Thank you very much.
So
She's
So if I
also
could be-
quite
Which is why I'm looking
qualified.
at you
Listed
like-
as the alternate,
we're all like-
or if you want,
both of you can show up, actually.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can
yeah.
have two.
and you can just let me know, Dr. Agakanian, if you don't have class and you'd like to attend.
I am telling you right now, for the next 3 months, I would, Friday
Got it.
mornings, 9 to 11, I'm teaching. So,
Great.
He's teaching you guys.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. So we have Vice President Ponzer Kamkar and Ms. Tabbitt, right? All right, congratulations. And there is a possibility of that moving to in-person.
One time a year is what they said.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not a big,
Local
It's really
control and
enjoyable.
accountability, it is. Local control and accountability plan committee, we had Dr. Weisberg and Vice President Ponzer Kamkar. We do need if you want to continue, that's fine, and we do need an alternate.
I would like to continue.
You?
I would also like to continue, but I want to recognize that Ms. Cano did go to the last meeting, I think, right, in person? The last LCAP meeting?
The one before.
The one before. So I think we should just have her as an alternate, perhaps?
Are you okay with that? Yeah. All right. Congratulations. Well, these are the commitments, I mean, but again, they're also, sorry. I'm not going to say congratulations anymore. Los Angeles County Committee on School, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being very Los Angeles County Committee on School District Organization. It's once a year, right?
I don't know.
One vote? Yeah, can you? Because I know. All right, so congratulations to me.
Congratulations to you. Yeah,
sorry.
is this kind of what the committee was when we went through districting and then they voted on it? Okay. So
Thank
it's just if other districts are going through districting.
Then we have some stuff to talk about.
Or anyone else would like to. You want to do this?
No, I mean, you want to do it. I just have.
I don't. I mean, I do, but at the same time, if you do, please.
No, it's okay. I'll just convey to you my deep feelings about it.
Maybe you should then.
That's okay. I want to do the next one.
All right. So, are you going to congratulate me?
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Dr. Agakanian. Oh my gosh.
So,
Wow.
all right.
Amazing.
Yeah, making her smile. That's what we hear about. Lake County School Trustees, Dr. Weisberg?
If it's okay with everybody, I'd like to do it.
Yes.
Knock yourself out, girl.
Oh, I will knock myself out
Thank you.
right in the face.
They still meet at Zoom or not? No, they do it in person now, right?
I don't know.
I get notices from them. It's kind of interesting.
Because a former board member was still.
Zoom? Oh,
I
well.
can do Zoom.
All right. Special Education District Advisory Committee. We had Dr. Weisberg before.
I mean, I would say I don't know if Ms. Kano is interested, but I don't think she's on a committee
Yes.
yet as a non-alternate. So if you were interested, I'm not trying to push it onto you at all.
All right.
Great.
Okay, so we have you and then Dr. Weisberg or anyone else wants to be the alternate?
I'm happy to do it.
All right. Thank you. And last but not least, School Facilities Oversight Committee. We had Dr. Weisberg and Ms. Tabbitt in the past.
I'm happy to, I think I was like on it and then hopped off when we changed the committee structure. Dr. Weisberg, you're on a lot of committees. Do you want to?
I'd love to be an alternate, but I'm fine to have Ms. Ponser Kamkar step in.
Okay.
And
I'm
then,
fine staying if you're
Yeah.
all okay with that.
Yeah.
yeah, this is the one that I was, Ms. Tabbitt, you've
And
done.
will the representation be the same for this as for when we establish a new Citizens Oversight Committee?
Very good question.
I imagine yes.
It's the same committee,
Yes.
it's just for the different bond if we do that.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah,
Okay.
I want to make sure we're on the same page. The SFOC, we have the Measure S FOC that's been in existence. Last meeting, we just called for the creation of a new SFOC for Measure ABC. And so is the intention that while we have the brief period where two SFOCs actually exist and overlap, that the board members would be the ex officio members to both those committees?
I'm fine with that.
Me too.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Paramo.
With the passing of the bond, recent passing of the bond, we need to institute the superintendent's subcommittee for facilities oversight. So we need to add that to the list, and you need to choose partners. And I think that there was the desire to have a discussion about that.
So is that, okay, so is this something we're adding to this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So are we amending this by adding that, or?
Well,
This is not a document, it is just a list of things that we.
But it's not listed on the, right now, so we
Right.
can add it.
correct.
Yes.
Okay, so we're adding for clarification.
Superintendent's facilities subcommittee.
I think because it's a part of our job that we should all gain more knowledge of, I would like to suggest that we rotate who's on that committee, I don't know, like every year, every time this comes up, just so every one of us gets a chance to really understand on a deeper level. I don't know how people feel about that, but I think it would be advantageous for us all. I don't know, Mr. Cantwell, Dr. Paramo, how you feel about that.
Well, first, do we have a date when this committee meets? Time
We-
and date.
Yeah, we are just starting to put all that together and construct a calendar so that our meetings are ongoing and they are solidified so that people can make arrangements when they, if they are going to be on the committee. And I don't have a problem with rotation if that's what the board wants to do.
And just a reminder, this is the committee that met on a bi-weekly basis. What's that?
Bi-monthly.
Well, the way in which you use bi can be both twice a week or every other week, so I know it's
Okay.
confusing, but yes, every 2
Calm
weeks.
down, teachers, okay.
Well, bi-weekly would be twice a week, right?
Come on, Emily, correct? You're-
Every other week.
Alright.
Again, I am able to make that commitment currently. I think
So if everyone agrees, we'd start with Dr. Weisberg, right? If we're going down to, which way do you guys want to go? Because we want to do it one member each, right?
No, 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 no.
two, and that those two rotate.
I think what we're saying was
Annually?
that maybe one
Annually?
of them stays on.
Yeah.
And then the other one rotates. And so people serve for 2 years at a time, but like, so I'm happy, I would propose, I would be happy to serve 1 year and then just only do 1 year, and then someone else could do 2. I know, Ms. Tabbitt, this is very important to you, and you've shown a lot of interest. And you have a lot of knowledge for how previous bonds have gone, so maybe you would be on for 2 years, and then the next year, Dr. Weisberg or Ms. Cano or Dr. Agakanian could join you on the committee the second year.
Okay. And it's,
So I will just say that,
That's at the end. Okay, I thought we were gonna do 1 year or 2 years?
I
Or 2 people?
or could we do something a little different so that folks who maybe work during the school year but don't work in the summer could attend the meeting in the summertime?
I mean, I think we can figure out when the meetings meet
Yeah.
at a later date. I think it might, I would love to hear you talk a little bit more about why one person would stay for 2 years
Yeah,
as opposed to just having 2 people. And look, if it ends up being that one person wants to stay for 2 years, I'm totally open to it. I would just love to hear you talk through a little bit why one person would stay.
So my doctor, so we talked about all of us rotating, right? Dr. Weisberg, that was your idea. So the 2 year thing kind of, I don't know, we'll have a discussion about it, but also, what is the purpose of the board members being there? Just for clarification purposes. Do we have a voting power or not, and so forth?
I'm actually glad that you brought that up. So I will tell you that I sat on this committee for the better part of 5+ years. When I was a director of secondary ed, so did Peter. It's really mostly district staff and district personnel. The way we have done this in the past is that there have always been 2 board members that sat in on those meetings. And I have no issue with that. They are part of the discussion. What I will say is that the real power comes when we bring something forward to the board and the board as a collective of 5 members votes yes or no. So what the board representation on this committee is doing is to offer opinion and perspective in relationship to all the other perspectives that are on that team. And so I think that it's a superintendent's committee. So we talk through things and we come to a decision on a group on how we want to move forward. For example, what's the next project we need to work on? What's the next school that should go first or second or third, and why? And how does this impact us during the summer months? And we have those discussions and we as a group decide this is how we want to move forward, and it comes to the board for approval. So the real power is with the board either saying yes or no to what that committee is advising.
So, yes,
Wait, Dr. Paramo, just because I'm still, again, the new kid on the block, as I'm getting my feet wet with this. So if they're, the 2 people that are there, is there any way that they can just communicate that to us without having a Brown Act problem?
At the board meeting.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So it's only, we can't just ever,
So,
okay, meet.
an easy, if you don't mind for
Yeah,
a second. So the committee is really driven by the committee agenda, where we go by Mr. Cantwell and the director, well, mostly Mr. Cantwell, based on other stuff, on previous meetings. He creates an agenda. We talk about the things on the agenda that pertain to spending of the board, of the bond money, which direction it's going, how we're going to direct it. So, you know, like if it were a car, Mr. Cantwell drives the car. We are all passengers in the car sharing our thoughts
Depeche
on
Mode
how the car should be driven. You're used to that, right?
is that a Depeche Mode
And then-
reference?
And then the car is driven to the board on the agenda, and the board puts the gas in the car.
So that was okay.
There you go.
Thank you. So just for, okay, so here's my little, if I may. So because of some board members just got, it's also, we don't want to put members there if, we have some members who are going to be here for 2 years, depending on if they're going to come back for elections or not. I want to make sure that we put the people so they so we don't get to a point where you're not there, you're there, or you decide not to. I know we just had a reelection, and some.
I think
here
that would
for at
just be,
least 2 years.
yeah, I think that would just be important next year that
Yeah.
Ms. Tabbitt and I weren't both on it next year.
Yeah,
And I
so,
think there is some.
well, I want to prioritize that, so depending on, so at least you get to, if, you never know, right?
So can
Maybe
I,
we need to get through the year and then talk about
Can-
it
can-
because.
can I, using the car metaphor, pump
Yes.
the brake for a brief
Yeah.
moment?
Please make it a Depeche Mode reference.
I was trying to make it simple.
I think that there are two things we need to decide. And before we do that, I think that it is very clear that as we get, because it's so important, we've all committed to transparency in regard to the bond. When it is time to have a robust, open conversation, when we're selecting members of SFOC and we're moving towards that process, we will continue to have robust conversations about the role that the committee plays, et cetera. I think seems to me there's two things that we need to talk about. One, is it going to be two board members serve 1 year and then they rotate? Or is it going to be one person serves 1 year and the other person serves 2? I think we have to decide that. And then it sounds like to me, we've already decided that Ms. Tabbitt and Vice President Ponser-Kamkar are going to be the two board members who will sit first. So really, it's just the one thing we need to decide.
Yes,
And do we have to have a motion on that?
it's part of
I think we just have to
the approval.
All right, so everyone here, do we want to do each member, 2 members for 1 year, or 1 member for 1 year and
No.
the other for 2?
You
I'm
keep
fine.
going.
I was overcomplicating it. We'll
Yeah.
just do it every year. Thank you.
Okay, so we have it every year, and the consensus is that we have Ms. Tabbitt and Ponser-Kamkar for the first year, right?
Yes.
All right, is that good,
appreciate
everyone happy? Okay. Cindy, can you read back all the
Why? It's so clear.
subcommittees and the board members, and so we can vote on it now?
Okay, I have Burbank Arts and Education Foundation, Dr. Agakanian, Member Cano and Member Tabbitt, District Level English Learner Advisory Committee, DILAC, Agakanian, Weisberg and Ponser-Kamkar as alternate. 5-star, I have Ponser-Kamkar and Tabbitt. LCAP, Weisberg, Ponser-Kamkar, Cano as alternate. LA County Committee of School District Organization, Agakanian. LA County School Trustees Association, Laxta, Weisberg, and Tabbitt as alternate. Special Education District Advisory Committee, Member Weisberg and Cano. SFOC, Tabbitt, Ponser-Kamkar, and alternate Member Weisberg. Then Superintendent's Facilities Oversight Subcommittee, I have Member Tabbitt and Ponser-Kamkar.
All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
That goes to Dr. Weisberg. Second, Vice President Ponser-Kamkar. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. All right. Now where are we? I lost count. Yeah. Oh, yes. 11F, approval of 2025-26 regular Board of Education meeting dates. Superintendent Parama.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We have bylaw number 9320, which prescribes our school board meetings. And I will read a short sentence that is applicable to our discussion.
Yes.
The board will hold 2 regular meetings each month. Regular meetings shall be held at 5 p.m., which is closed session, and 6 p.m., which is open session, on the first and third Thursday, unless otherwise noted at Burbank City Hall. So the calendar that I have submitted for you to review is following this protocol. The issue becomes that on 3 of those dates, we have the implication of religious holidays. So I'd like to identify those for you. Actually, Ms. Quinterio did that for us. It's the October 2nd meeting, which is Yom Kippur, February 19th meeting, which is Ramadan, and the meeting on April 2nd, which is the first day of Passover.
February 19, 2026.
February 19th, 2026.
Thank you.
So because these are religious holidays, then we have to amend the dates that are typically prescribed because it's the first and third meeting. And so it means that we're going to have to put it on either the second or the fourth. Yes.
I know so let's first talk about this. For October 2nd, are my colleagues okay if we put this on second? I have an issue with the last Thursdays because I have another board that meets.
Well, October 9th would not be the last Thursday.
Yeah, I think that was the suggestion, was to make it October 9th, so we'd have October 9th and October 16th, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there are two back-to-back meetings. One would be the 9th and one would be the 16th.
All right, my colleagues okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. Next month, February 19th, 2026, which is Ramadan.
So
So-
can I say one thing about that one first?
Yes.
So, the religious calendar for Muslims is like they have tentative dates for things.
Yeah.
So it's tentatively Ramadan is supposed to start February
Yeah.
18th. Ramadan is very long, so it would be hard to not intersect with Ramadan at all. But I do think we should try to avoid the first day, and I think
Yeah.
the 19th may end up being the first day of Ramadan, is I think part of the problem. I'm fine moving it either way, but I just wanted you guys to know that it's like, it's
Is it a safer bet to move it earlier than later?
We don't.
It won't move that far. It
Okay.
won't move like one week or the other. It'll move like a couple days.
So the
in either
12th
way.
is
The 12th should be
debatably,
fine, yeah.
okay.
So then the way that would work is we would have a board meeting on February 5th, and then the following week, we would have a board meeting on February 12th.
Thank you, Vice President Panzer Kamkar, for that clarification. Are my colleagues okay with that? All right. And then last one, April 2nd, first day of Passover.
Woo-woo.
So the recommendation could be that we have our board meeting on April the 9th, and then the following week, April the 16th.
Dr. Paramo,
Yes, ma'am.
if memory serves, and as you get older, it falls.
Oh, I know.
Yes. There's not we normally take a dark day for spring break. Okay, but we have two dates here, March 5th and March 26th.
Actually, this year we have 3 dates in March because we needed an additional day because of the issues we sometimes run into with meeting the deadlines for our second interim budget report. So this is actually reducing 3 meetings down to 2 meetings.
So should we just eliminate April 2nd as our spring break dark day?
I think that what he's saying is the March 13th that we previously had is the meeting now that we're dark. It had been added in, but then we didn't need it. So as opposed to it saying like dark
Okay.
for spring
Okay.
break, that was,
Okay, then I'm fine for April 9th. I was just trying to make.
That makes sense.
Okay, so everyone okay with, what did we decide on April 2nd?
So it'd be April 9th, and Passover ends the day before that.
Everyone okay with that? Okay, so also, once we're on the topic of meeting, I would like to see if we can explore, maybe by next meeting, to see if we can move the meeting dates to Wednesday or another day. And I will say the reason Thursdays, as wonderful it's been, it's at least I see a lot of events happening on Thursday nights that involve people who are in government because that's the day they usually come back, right? I'm just putting this out there. If my colleagues are okay to have a discussion of change of day.
I don't necessarily have an issue. What I want to say is that it would be really difficult to pivot in that direction unless we can do it at the start of our cycle. Because all other district meetings are worked around the fact that Thursday has to be kept clear for the purpose of our board meeting. So if you were going to do it, I would say that we do it at the start of our next school year as opposed to doing anything now. Not that that's what you were thinking, but.
Dr. Weisberg.
I would also say that we would need to check and see if that's even something that the city could accommodate, only because right now, I imagine that they mostly keep Thursday nights clear for us. I don't know if they have other things in here on Wednesday nights. I mean, I think at some point, someday, it would be wonderful if we had our own space that we could do the YouTube streaming in and all that good stuff. But while we don't, I think if we can find out on the front end if switching days is even possible, that would help with the I'm fine exploring it. I just think we want to make sure logistically we can even do it.
Okay, so why don't we bring this back for next year, like before
Sure.
the next year's cycle
Should that'll give
starts?
us enough time to do the research, and then we can decide if we can make that work.
And, yes, okay, so right now we made the changes, can I get a motion?
I just had one more quick
Dr.
thing.
Weisberg.
Is it possible to find out the cost differential between how much we pay to use City Hall versus how much it would cost to upgrade our facilities at the district office and use that site instead? I'm loath to use bond dollars for things that aren't directly in the classroom, but I do think depending on how much we're paying here, it could end up, I have no idea if there'd be a cost savings or not, but I think it's at least worth looking into, if that's possible. It's not free.
Oh, no.
No, it's not.
No.
But, we will look into that.
He was being funny, in case no one noticed.
Yeah, that's actually a very good suggestion. Can we get by next board meeting a report, how much do we annually pay to be here? That includes.
I can do that. I'm not sure I can get the analysis that you asked for, but I can definitely get you what we pay for each board meeting and what the annual cost is.
Yeah, I think it's probably more useful to have all of the information. So whenever, I don't know if in 2 board meetings, or if you could just let us know when that's realistic, because having one set of data is one thing, but not being able to compare it doesn't really help drive the conversation.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I do want to also just make sure that we are in consensus. This year was the first year that I was on the board. We had closed session at 6, and then we started open session at 7. We moved things back an hour, I think partially to make sure that we were getting the public in here earlier, getting staff out of here earlier and not going till midnight. I think we've been actually pretty good about that anyway,
Yes.
but I just want to make sure we're all still good with that.
That's
schedule.
a very good point. So Dr. Weisberg, also, I think your recommendation, so if we can look into it, I think, I don't know. And I also want to know where we are with our current building. Is that building okay? Every time I look at it, it looks like it's falling. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I know have we looked at?
Mr. Maxwell is watching this, so I need to speak on his behalf that we regularly test that building, and there is no cause for concern for any visitors or for the workers in the building.
Okay, except the bathroom windows. Thank you. All right, so sorry. So we will wait for that report, Dr. Paramo, and then also thank you for bringing that up, Vice President Camcar. Is everyone okay sticking to 5 o'clock and continuing that? Because
Yes.
I want to make sure we're all good. Everyone's good. Okay. Anything else? All right. Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved.
Motion, Dr. Weisberg. Can I get a second? Second by Vice President Ponzer Camcard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item motion passes 5-0. Now going to 11G, approval of job description, recruitment and hiring for the roof repair technician position on the classified monthly salary schedule. Ms. Rajinko?
Okay, thank you. So this is creating a new CSEA position because previously this position was outsourced to a third party at a much higher cost. So making this a CSEA position will help us with accountability, efficiency, getting the jobs done in a timely manner, and most importantly, it'll save us money.
Any questions? Yes, Vice President Camcar.
Under what circumstances are we able to pay for this position out of bond funds, or under no circumstances?
No, this really is a maintenance cost. It's not able to be paid for out of the bond.
I have a couple questions.
Clerk Tabbitt.
I like the idea of a roof repair technician. I completely understand. I read the report and understand that it would cost far less than the, what did you just call it, Mr. Cantwell? I'm sorry, the routine maintenance contract? Right. However, we're going to have to continue a maintenance contract because this person can't do major repairs. This person would only be able to do small repairs.
So the contract that we've had, the primary role they served was, I believe it was 3 times a year across the district. They'd go to our sites, they'd walk the buildings, they trimmed some of the trees that were covering the roof or creating debris fall on the roof, clearing the gutters, taking care of those types of needs. So that's absolutely what this person will be doing.
Okay.
Separate from that, if there was actually need for a material repair, it's something that was a few $1,000s or more, they would give us a quote that we could decide to either shop or use to then have them repair it. The maintenance contract did not include them actually doing the real repairs to the roof.
Okay.
And so we would send, back when we had the 99 roofing issues, our staff was able to handle some, and much of it was Band-Aided with these individual one-off contracts.
Okay, so no more maintenance contract then?
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
That was I couldn't figure that out from your report. I needed
Yep.
to question.
Yep.
And then, is there a possibility, and this is a whole new person, so 2 ways, because, we've just had lengthy conversations about the budget, et cetera. Could it be, and I don't know, that's why I'm asking, could it be something, like, we have positions now, like a carpenter glazier, who his primary job is carpentry work, but he can also put in windows. We have, what are they called, laborers. Could one of those laborers take on, labor roof repair instead of hiring a whole new person? And of course, they'd have to go up on the salary schedule, but it's not adding a whole new person, it's just adding to someone's job. Now that person gets to make a little bit more money, but we're not adding, even at, yeah, is that a thought process we could do instead of hiring a whole new person? And if the
Well-
answer's no, the answer's no.
Yeah, so this does pay more than the labor position.
Yeah,
Already, this
it does.
allocation. So we certainly hope that we'll have some internal candidates who would pursue this position. What you're asking is there a way for us to be squeezing more out of the turnip, to get more out of what we're already asking them to do so much? I don't think that any of our tradesmen and women, well, we don't have any women currently, but our trades folks,
If we do.
if and when, our trades folks have the bandwidth to absorb this level of responsibility that was being paid at $170,000 annual cost. I just don't see a way in which that bandwidth is there. I think that the additional FTE still is going to result in significant general fund savings. So this position is, again, creating savings in the order of magnitude of about half of the contract cost. I don't see a way for us to try to squeeze further savings by putting the workload onto a current CSEA member.
Just actually, Char, kind of where you're going, I'm kind of going a different direction. The thing is, so with having somebody who then is an actual roof technician, because I'm thinking of the new roofs and all the new, with the bondman and stuff are going on. Had we had somebody in that and not doing the piecemeal kind of that we'd gotten all these little, would that have protected our roofs, a little bit more and made them a little bit more durable or kept them in better shape? No? Over time? I'm looking at you.
Yeah, we certainly, our position is that absolutely would. That it would, by having more regular contact instead of just a 3 times a year, every 4 months, having someone go onto those roofs, having our people that are able to go on there with much greater regularity, making sure that we're taking care of the smaller things before they become larger things, absolutely is the goal here. Is we're saving money and we actually believe that we are doing better service for these roofs.
Okay.
And that kind of adds what you said about routine maintenance for this person, removing tree branches and doing stuff like that. Because my first thought, well, as we go through the next few years, each year our schools will be getting new roofs. How much are we going to need this person? But what you described adds more to what I knew about. So I appreciate hearing that. And thank you for letting me to ask these questions because it does just helps us grow. So I appreciate it. I just, I worry. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Clerk Tavitt. And look, our job is to ask questions and for the public to know, and I appreciate it. And just in lieu of the recent wins, I don't see this thing going away.
Well, as we get new roofs,
I have one more
it will.
question.
Well, yeah, but the winds are
But
not,
then there's,
no,
he's
this,
saying
this,
removing tree branches
yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
this is
But the,
important too.
Ms. Connor.
Yeah, still, just my second part of that for Mr. Cantwell. So looking and seeing at the job description, it says that we, under this direction of an assigned supervisor. So who would the supervisor be for the roof technician?
It's the trades manager.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Okay, can I get a motion for 11G? Second?
Second?
Okay, moved by Vice President Ponzer Kamkar, seconded by Ms. Tabbitt. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. 11H, approval of updated classified hourly or special assignment salary schedule and increase in hourly compensation for educational interpreters, second, deaf, and hard of hearing. Ms. Rodchenko?
Okay, so this salary schedule is for our classified substitute and short-term employees. So there's two folds in this board item. The first part is just updating the titles from instructional assistant to paraeducator, et cetera. So those are the first 1, 2, 3, 4, campus supervisor instead of supervisor assistant. And then the second part is regarding the substitute educational interpreter 2 for the deaf and hard of hearing. We wanted to increase them to be paid at 100% of step 1. Instead of, prior to that, they were at 85%. So this will make the hourly rate 35.19 per hour. Currently, we do not have any substitute ed interpreters because of the low rate. So we're hoping by moving the rate up, this might help us attract some substitute ed interpreters.
Dr. Weisberg?
How close to, and obviously it's not an apples to apples because other districts get substantially more money than we do, but pretend. How close does this get us to what other districts are paying their subs and short terms?
Much closer. This is about the same range that
Okay.
other districts give their sub ed interpreters.
That's great. So ideally that will help out.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, any of my colleagues, any questions? I guess not. Yes, Ms. Connor.
Dr. Rodchenko, I'm, again, because my first meeting here, it was kind of a whirlwind, and I didn't know what it was going. But we had, when we had discussed that there was the companies that we were using for, will we reduce having to use them if we're hiring in-house then here and reduce our cost overall?
Yes, thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, that will definitely, if we have our own substitute ed interpreters, then we have to provide the service, so we have no choice but then to use our, our agency folks to fill in when we have a vacancy. So this will help us hopefully have our own internal people.
Is the cost for the agency significantly or more than what we'd be paying then?
Yes.
If we had in-house?
Yeah, our primary contract on this is $110 an hour.
It's bananas.
Vice President Kamkar.
Yeah, so is this something that we're looking at for all of the things that we currently use agencies for? Is kind of adjusting this?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be bringing forth one for nurse substitutes in one of our upcoming meetings because we have to make sure that we're competitive and our substitute salary schedules are appropriate and comparable to our surrounding districts, so we can make sure we don't have to use agencies when we need substitutes for these positions.
And also, once we do this, I'd love to maybe at the end of the year see a report of all the savings, just to see, just for our public. Thank you. Well, why not? Can I get a motion, please, for?
Second.
Okay, motion, we have a motion by Vice President Ponzer Kamkar and second by Dr. Emily Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. 11I, approval of title change from plaster cement finisher to senior facilities worker, plaster cement on salary schedule B, the change from plaster cement finisher to senior facilities worker, plaster cement on salary schedule B, range 53 as amended. Ms. Rodchenko.
Okay, so this position is currently vacant. The person that was in this position has moved up into a new position. There was an MOU that we had with that previous person that explained this. And so for the past 5 years, that person has added to their job description to be a plaster cement facilities worker. So because we had someone in that position, we never moved over to the Ewing study and what was told to the position that we should have, because we had somebody in that position and we had added to that job through an MOU that had been continuing. So the goal always was, once that person moved out of that position, we would go ahead and enact the actual job as the Ewing study as a senior facilities worker, plaster cement on salary Schedule B.
Dr. Weisberg.
So just to
confusing.
be clear, this is not the creation of a new job.
No.
I just want to make sure people, because it can get confusing when we talk about renaming or reclassing. So this is an existing position that sort of organically morphed. And so we are giving it an official sort of title on the scale, but it's not a new position.
Correct. Well said.
All right, any other question?
Yeah, I do have a question. In terms of, for the fiscal impact, in terms of, so this new, with the new title, does that change significantly where they were before, when they were just with the MOU that we had going?
It goes up 2 ranges.
No. What was that? No, go ahead.
Okay, who's gonna explain
Yeah,
this?
all right,
Ms.
so
Tabet,
I
Karina,
know,
who's
this is
gonna
your
do this?
position, so go ahead.
It's a one range difference, which again, these ranges aren't perfectly 2.5%, but that's typically what you can assume these are, is that's a 2.5% difference in pay.
Okay.
Ms. Tabet.
We don't have any other senior facility workers. So it just seemed like it just seemed weird. Not, can you kind of
So
explain why we went
my
that
my
way?
understanding is that this is what was prescribed at the time that we were doing the Ewing study, and we never moved forward with it because this person had been the previous person had been doing this for a length of time under an MOU. So the idea was, once that person moves on and we get another new person where we don't have to have the MOU, we will transition into this new place.
Got it. I mean, I understand it just seems like a weird title since we don't have any others.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
And just wondering, is that a plan to move other people into the senior facilities worker category?
No, again, this was gone through with the Ewing study. It was already an approved job description with CSEA. They wanted to keep it with this name. We work with the union to, make sure that we're following what they would
It's just a
like.
discussion we had to have because it's so different and we need to be transparent.
Yes, of course.
You know?
No, and I honestly, I
Appreciate it.
appreciate that you said that. And just for absolute clarity, this is not the start of a domino effect with other changes that will be coming. This was prescribed a long time ago under Ewing.
I will just also say with this and the previous two items that we looked at, it's just cleaning things up as well and making sure that things are in line and in alignment with what the job people are actually doing.
Yeah, that's important because otherwise then they.
Speak into the
find out-
microphone, Mr.
Then,
Thank
then
you.
we get out of class, whatever those are called, and yeah, and that costs us money we don't have too. So we need to make sure that we're staying within our job classifications. That's really important. So,
Thank you.
I just wanted clarification. I wasn't going to vote against it.
Well, we haven't voted yet, so can I get a
Now
motion?
you know I'm not voting against it.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice President Ponce Camcourt and a second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye. We already know what you're voting.
Aye.
Aye.
Surprising.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much for the explanations. 11J, appointment of committee members and chair to the Surplus Property Advisory Committee, 711 Committee, pursuit of California Education Code 17387. Mr. Cantwell.
Yeah, on November 7th, this board called for the convening of a 711 committee, a surplus property committee. That is a statutorily required committee that is convened to look at a variety of factors when considering whether the district should consider certain property surplus. before the district can consider any lease, exclusive lease agreement, or any sale of a property, this is a necessary precursor to that. So to explore the possibility of leasing a property, or again, a sale, you have to convene this committee. The committee will be charged with looking at enrollment projections, looking at other factors like operational cost of maintaining a vacant property, looking at various needs the district may have, and then they will put forward a recommendation to this board. The board has the liberty to receive that recommendation and then undertake their own work to ultimately decide whether or not to determine a property surplus. The committee will be focused on two properties. That's our parking lot, that's right here near City Hall, as well as our former CDS property. And so we received applications, had 26 applications come in December. A group of a subset of board members and administration reviewed those applications, and the names that you'll see presented here are the recommendation of that team. With
Who
Justin,
were the board members?
It was Vice President Ponser Kamkar and Board Member Weisberg.
And just for clarification, this was done in December or before that because you explained to me the legality, and because some people think we just did it in January. So
That's right. Yeah. The committee or this group met before the reorg.
Thank you.
Meeting.
So my colleagues, we have all the 7 names. First of all, do we have any of my colleagues want to nominate anyone else that's not on the list?
I do.
Yes, Clerk Tabbitt.
I want to, not that I'm totally unhappy with the choices. I just want to make sure that I would like to add to the committee 2 people, and you have to, I guess, vote on them separately, to make sure that we have a well-rounded group that hits as many of the marks as possible of the criteria we're looking for in committee members, and that also bring with them some life experience, I think is important too.
So for clarification, right now we have 9 recommendations. The 2 you want to add, that won't make it 11. We have to vote on all, right now, 11 to see if we get 9 out of them, right?
Can I make a recommendation?
Yes.
Just for consideration, that's just entirely up to the board. But if you're in agreement with the slate that was brought forward, you can vote on that to move forward and then separately decide if you want to move forward an additional 2.
Okay, so first of all, who are the 2 nominees? Wait.
Can I move that we vote on these 9 that are in the report, and then we would take Ms. Tabbitt's?
What do we do if I'm going to let it go. Okay, I'm fine with you.
Well, I mean, what if any of the members here don't want to vote for any one of these 9 or 2 of the 9s? Do we want to do separate votes on each?
No, I think it's either, I think we vote for this slate, and then we can separately have a conversation about whomever the 2 additional people are that Ms. Tabbitt is bringing forward.
Then I'd just like to put it for nomination. I think we then vote on each one after we vote on this.
Okay, so
first
we vote for the
on the committee
9.
that was brought forward. And then I have 2 people that one at a time, and we can vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
And going forward, I'd like when we do the SFOC in the past, all of us received the applications. There were only 30, and at a board meeting, we voted individually on each one. And so that's the way I hate to do that. We've always done it because it doesn't mean it has to be done that way, but it's far more transparent.
It is more transparent. I'm uncomfortable with the idea of kind of ruling folks out in a public meeting that are not, that have put themselves forward, and for various reasons in this case, we can't have more than 11 folks, right? So we will necessarily have to say no to some people. If we're going to vote individually on folks, then I would prefer a method where we're nominating individuals and voting on those folks rather than going through the entire list and voting on each person.
I'm fine with that too. It just has to be done
Dr. Weisberg.
I would also add too that I think, a lot of this was done with expediency because we really need to get this process moving.
It's illegal.
And I think that, having experienced as somebody who's an appointed member of a board or commission in the city, it is excruciating. I do think that it is entirely reasonable that, I would have to ask Mr. Cantwell and Dr. Paramo as far as that if there is another committee that all the board members could get the information from the applicant, share any concerns they have with Dr. Paramo or Mr. Cantwell, and then those two board members would not be part of that, but would then make the decision just so it feels as though everybody's involved. And certainly we don't do it this way with SFOC, but I think Ms. Tabbitt, your point is well taken that everybody could have had access. And so if it's an issue of access, that's one thing. But I do think having people individually, all of us up here, it's going to take a really long time. And I'm okay with things taking a really long time
Sometimes it has to.
Right, and sometimes it has to, and sometimes it should. I don't know if I feel like in this case it should, but I do think we could have all had access to the applications, and then all board members could have shared concerns with Dr. Paramo or Mr. Cantwell, but obviously not have included the two board members appointed to the committee because that would have been a Brown Act violation.
And just for clarity, the entire board did receive,
Yes, thank you.
after the fact, did receive all the applications so that they could review them. And that is a lesson learned just in terms of procedure on how we move forward.
And thank you and that's why I asked the questions. Any of my colleagues want to nominate anyone else? Now,
Dr. Aghakhanian?
What?
Just for the sake, also just so people understand, because when it first came out, I was like, I feel like I'm in a vacuum. I don't know who these people are. So we did get it. So I do appreciate that you gave us the things. We were able to look through them. So just so the general public knows that there's a criterion, it was a lot of cross-referencing in terms of, if you look at it had to be, they were looking at ethnicity, age group, socioeconomic levels. They were looking at we needed representatives from business community, we needed representative landowners and renters, teachers, administrators, parents of students, and then people with expertise in environmental impact, legal contracts, buildings, codes, and land use planning, including but not limited to the knowledge of zoning and land use. So there was a lot of variables so I know when I went through, I basically kind of went, oh, doop, doop. So I think for the most part, mine looked like yours. There were some that were different, but, I get it, I want people to know how it was decided. It wasn't just.
And I appreciate that information being included in the report as well.
And I want to thank, Superintendent Paramo, the admin team, and my colleagues have put in. This is a lot of work, but also I want to thank everyone, at least to clarifying this.
Yeah, sure.
So now that we're kind of clear on this, so let's first move with the recommendations of the 9 individuals. And do we have to read the names?
No, I don't believe so. I think we just moved to approve the
right.
slate.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the slate of the 9 individuals recommended by the committee?
Second.
So we have a motion by Vice President Ponser Kamkar and a second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Now, do any of my colleagues want to nominate anyone else?
Yes.
Miss,
I do.
yes, Ms. Tabbitt.
I want to nominate Larry Applebaum to the committee, and everybody gets spoiled. It's fine. And
I sneezed.
oh,
I'm sorry.
I thought you snorkeled.
No, I sneezed.
apologize. I apologize. And
That was a sneeze. Thank you.
I've left my applications in the car, and his first name is slipping my mind. But the second person I'd like to nominate is,
Yeah.
I know his last name. I just can't think of his first name. Mr. Hovhanessian.
Oh,
Vahe Hovhanessian.
Vahe
I'd like
Hovan.
to nominate those two people.
So we have, that's a motion, right?
Yes.
To nominate Mr. Larry Applebaum and Mr. Vahe Hovhanessian to be added to the committee. Can I get a second? If there is no, you want a second then? Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Tabbitt and second by Ms. Kano. All in favor, say aye.
Were you doing one at a time or are you doing both?
You want to do one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we start with Mr. Larry Applebaum? Ms. Quintero, why don't you do a roll call on each individual? Or how do you want to do
Just show
this?
by,
All right,
I
so,
think we're fine to vote. I just, so as I mentioned before, even just when we were talking about process earlier, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about any individuals from the dais. It makes me super uncomfortable, just personally, right?
Yeah.
And so, to preview, right? Like I looked at both of the applications for these people. I thank them for their service to our community. If they have questions about why I'm voting the way I'm voting, I'm happy to talk to them individually. But I don't want to speak critically about any members of our community from the dais.
I feel similarly.
yeah, it's,
and you take a vote as that a vote is speaking critically?
I'm saying if I wanted to explain my vote, I would do
you don't
that in
have
private.
to, though.
Okay.
Yeah. People, it's the same thing on city commissions. Some people get ayes and some people don't. They don't have to explain. It's a yes or no. So we have Mr. Larry Applebaum.
Well, it's just, sorry, it's just like with the group that was chosen.
Yes.
There are a couple of people I may not have voted for, given the opportunity.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the big picture, so I voted to approve this committee.
Yeah, but you did have an option if you didn't want to vote for them.
No, I had an option to not vote for the committee chosen.
Well, I did bring up the
didn't-
committee, and I also said if you don't want to vote any of these people, you have an option too. Do you want to withdraw and go back and see if any of these people you don't want? Because that's why I asked if we want 9 or 11 or 9, any of these 9. I did bring up the question of if you don't want any of these people on the 9, then you should point it out. So is there anyone of Ms. Tabbitt on the 9 that you're
It's
not?
not that I don't want them, I just wouldn't have chosen them given the opportunity.
Well,
Does
you
that-
are
does
given,
that-
you are
does
given
that
the,
make- does
no,
that
it
make
doesn't,
sense?
no, it doesn't, because you're given the opportunity right now to vote. So, from the 9 individuals, you're comfortable with all 9, or is anyone that you don't want on the committee? It's a very simple process, yes or no. If you want a person on a committee, you vote for him. If you don't, you say, no, I don't want him.
So I think what Ms. Tabbitt is saying is if she had voted individually, there may have been people she didn't vote for
Or other people.
that
That
she
That's
would
what I
rather
said.
have put on.
Well, that's why I said you
But
want
we
to
don't-
individually go one
We
by.
don't have everybody to vote for, so that wouldn't really be the right thing to do.
Okay, just
go-
everyone just to stay in,
Oh
make
my
sure
goodness.
we're in order here.
I will withdraw everything, because I don't mean to make this so complicated.
Well, it's not, it's.
It sounds like what may benefit us moving forward when we next have to vote for a committee
Thank you.
is to take individual votes on each member so that if we do have concerns, then we can either vote for them or vote not for them, even if at the end of the day, we know they're still going to be on the committee.
Okay.
I think what Ms. Tabbitt is saying is we're past that point now,
Yes.
but next time we have a committee,
what I'm saying.
perhaps we do it that way.
Okay, just.
So
this-
now I
this-
request
this-
that you
this-
call for the question and take a vote on the 2 people that
I
are
understand, but I also want to go back to, because I did bring this up for individual, and everyone said, well, let's just vote for. These were recommendations, and if you don't like the recommendations or any of those names, you have the right to say, no, I don't like this, I'm not going to vote for this person. So do we want to go back and do individual, or do you just want to, you have an option here. We can withdraw the motion, go back and say individually, and then we can add the 2 names if you want, see if everyone else wants to vote for those individuals too. That's why I asked the question, is it 9 or 2, 11, or is it 9 and we have to vote on them? Maybe we'll get 7.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up at the beginning. So is everyone okay with withdrawing the motion and then doing individually?
So that means in public right now, you're going to say who okay.
Yeah.
So you'll go through.
Because we're gonna have to do it for the 2, yeah.
Someone can second.
Okay.
We'll move on that. Okay, got it.
All right, so can I withdraw your motion, Ms. Weisberg?
Certainly.
Okay.
So
want me
we're
to start?
withdrawing the motion for the 7 and 9 that were recommended, and going back to these names and anyone else that we want to add to them, right? And we've added 2 names to them as well.
We'll just go through individually.
Yeah,
Yes.
just go through individually.
Okay, so,
For the sake of expediency, I'm happy to make the motion since I was part of the.
okay, so we have a motion to go with the recommendations and the 2 added names, right?
No, we're
Just
going
for the-
individually
Yes, for the 7 recommended right now.
for the 9 recommended,
9,
and then
sorry.
we'll also take a motion for Ms. Tabbitt for each of hers.
Separate.
So I'm going to move that we approve Justin Robertson for the 7-Eleven committee. Is that sufficient? as
Yes,
far
I
as
need a
motions go?
second on motion to,
Surplus Advisory
Second.
Committee.
so we have a motion by Vice President, Ms. Tabbitt.
Yes.
We have a motion by Vice President Panzer Kamkar and Dr. Weisberg for Justin Robertson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 5-0.
Dr. Arkanian?
Yes.
I move that we add Melissa Hemina Gobieski, apologies for the pronunciation there, to our Surplus Property Advisory Committee.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 5-0.
Dr. Arkanian?
Yes.
I move that we add Chantal Samponia to our Surplus Property Advisory Committee.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Dr. Arkanian, I move that we add Tyler Bonestead to our Surplus Advisory Committee.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Next.
I move that we add Naomi Park to our Surplus Property Advisory Committee.
Second.
A motion and a second for Naomi Park. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
I move that we add Hugo Maldonado to our Surplus Property Advisory Committee.
Second.
Motion and a second for Hugo Maldonado. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
I move that we add Andre Dionysian to our Surplus Property Advisory Committee.
Second.
A motion and a second for Andre Dionysian. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion passes 5-0.
No.
Nope.
Oh,
No.
you said, we have a no. Okay, thank you. Ms. Tabbitt, you can say no.
No.
Okay, so motion passes 4-0.
4-1.
4-1, sorry, 4-1. Sorry, wrong man.
I move that we add Eric Carter to our Surplus Property Advisory Committee.
I'm gonna get-
Second.
Could
Look,
we add-
Brett can take that one.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Ponce Campbell, second by Board Member Kano. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
I move that we add Peter Knappich to our Surplus Property Advisory Committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for Peter Knappich. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. So all the 9 individuals that we just read, passed, the motion has passed for them. Now, Ms. Tabbitt, would you like to make a motion? To
I move that, I'd like to nominate Larry Applebaum to the committee.
Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Second by Ms. Kano. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, motion fails. Ms. Tabbitt?
Yes. Oh, the second person I'd like to nominate is Vahe Hovanesian. I can't.
Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Second by Ms. Kano. All in favor, say aye.
Oh, aye. Sorry.
Thank you.
Ugh, that was silly.
Oppose?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, motion fails, 1-4 noes. Okay, so looks like we have the 9 individuals that were recommended. Congratulations to our new committee members. All right, 12 consent agenda.
President Aga Khan?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. There is one other item I wanted to bring forward. It's not a report or necessarily an item that you need to vote on, but we did have 3 board meetings scheduled in March. And the reason we did that is to allow the flexibility for our finance department to be able to complete the second interim budget. And it looks to us like we are on track to be able to do that at the first board meeting in March. Therefore, unless you want to continue moving forward with the second board meeting in March, we could cancel that and then move those items to the second meeting. So that would mean that we'd only have 2 board meetings in March instead of 3.
Wishes of my colleagues?
So we would meet on the 6th and the 27th then.
That is correct.
That's fine with me.
Is fine with me.
Everyone else okay with it? Ms. Tabbitt?
Yes.
All right, do we have to make, we don't have to make a motion. Ms. Tabbitt? Yeah.
direction.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
March 6th is open house for the high schools. Has that happened before? Yeah. I thought so.
Yeah, in fact, one of the reasons why the instructional calendar was pulled is because the team wants the board to finalize its board dates so that when they put their instructional calendar together, it's not going to conflict with open house. And
Okay.
yeah,
So they're going to adjust open house?
they're going to adjust it based on what we determine are our board dates for 25, 26.
Thank you, Clerk Tabbitt, for bringing that up. All right, any other questions? Superintendent, we're good? Thank you. 12 consent agenda, any of my board members wish to pull items for separate consideration?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Tabbitt?
I had asked previously that bond-related approvals, et cetera, be in our regular new and, or new business section for voting, and there's a couple in here. And I apologize, one of them says just bond funds, but it doesn't say specifically, I'm assuming it's Measure S.
Which one is that? What item?
I'll get to it, hold on a second.
It's 12J.
Yes, 12J. It's, and I also wanted to bring out the emergency work. Yes, not that one, but I do want to bring that out because I think we should approve those, award those contracts individually, openly. The work's already been done. We need to do that. It was emergency work, but I think it should be done in the open, not as part of consent. So that would be
Which one is that?
HIJ K. And I know it'll go fast, but it just, if there's any questions or anything that a board member may have, we should have the opportunity to ask those.
Okay,
I'm
so.
sorry, which was the item that's a bond item?
You know what, I'm sorry, as I read through, it didn't delineate which bond. I'm gonna assume it's S,
But
because we haven't
which
done-
item though is that?
It might be M, but it says emergency. It says emergency roof repair, but then it just says,
But it wouldn't,
not to exceed bond fund, sort of the.
yeah, so that wouldn't be bond fund,
That's
right?
not bond funds. That's Fund 1. And it's all funded by our, or reimbursed by our insurance. So I
Okay.
apologize for that typo.
Yeah. Would we just need to
There's no
correct
bond.
it?
The bond projects we did pull out, and that's what we had the NOCs we presented earlier. I
Okay.
wanted to make sure we didn't make a mistake there.
Thank you.
It's only a typo in that term there.
Yep, it happens.
I just don't want to, we want to do it correctly and we want to do it the way the board wants. So the bond items will be pulled out of consent. I'm clear on that. Are we, what else is the request from the board that needs to be pulled out of consent moving forward so it's in public?
Just tonight, I wanted to do the emergency repair work because I thought that was important to be
Totally.
in public. and
But in the
transparent.
future, you're going to still want emergency fund?
could
or we
pull
just
it-
tackle that when it
yeah,
happens?
we could pull it out when it happens.
Got it.
Are you okay with that?
Totally. I just want to make sure that
Are you
we
guys
are,
okay with
do-
Are my colleagues okay with that? Sure. We're okay with that.
I mean, it was a big deal and was very public and people were watching and I just,
I just feel bad for the person who has to make the motion because they're going to have to pull out all these letters and then they do it. So it's just hard to,
we could do a
Challenge
accept
accepted.
it.
Okay.
Okay, challenge been accepted by Vice President Ponce Camco.
right.
Congratulations.
I
She was just waiting for me to give her some
Move.
extra work.
that we approve items 12A through 12G and These are all emergency.
You can do it.
I know I can. 12U through 12Z.
Good job.
That's what I'm talking about. Best board ever. Thank you. All right, we have a motion, and can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, let's go item by item now.
All right. 12. Now I forgot. No, 12H. I move we approve 12H, award of contract Amy Builders emergency roof repair at the district administrative office funded by the emergency fund.
Second.
A motion by Vice President Ponzer Camkert, second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Wait.
Oh, do we want?
Yep, okay, thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is that aye, Ms. Tabby?
Aye.
Thank you. Your microphone is a little too far. They can't hear you.
Aye.
That's what I'm talking about.
Heck yeah.
Thank you. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Next item.
I move we approve the award of contract to Commercial Roofing Systems for emergency roof repair at Walt Disney Elementary School from the emergency fund.
Second.
A motion by Vice President Ponzer Camkert, second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next.
And I'm so glad.
Thank you.
I move that we approve the award of contract to Commercial Roofing Systems for the emergency roof repair at John Burroughs High School from the emergency fund.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Vice President Ponzer Camkert and second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Hold on,
Yes.
couldn't, on 12J, we're gonna take out bond fund out of that?
Yes.
Okay? And
Oh, we need to make sure we're reading the letters when we bring forward the motion and second of each item.
Sorry.
yes, thank you.
12J.
Yes.
With the bond,
12J, no,
Okay.
12J is emergency fund.
Right.
It is erroneously
Not bond.
as bond fund after the account string for John Burroughs High School, 12J.
Second.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I move we approve item 12K, the award of contract for commercial roofing systems for emergency roof repair from William McKinley Elementary School from the emergency fund, not the bond fund, as mentioned after the
Well
account string.
done.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Vice President Ponzer Camkert, second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I move we approve item 12L, the award of contract for commercial roofing systems for the emergency roof repair at Joaquin Miller Elementary School from the emergency fund, not the bond fund.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Ponzer Camkert and second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I move we approve item 12M, the award of contract for commercial roofing systems for emergency roof repair at Theodore Roosevelt Elementary School from the emergency fund, not the bond fund.
Second.
Motion by Vice President Ponzer Camkert, second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I move we approve item 12N, the award of contract for commercial roofing systems for emergency roof demolition at Thomas Edison Elementary from the emergency fund.
Second.
Motion
one
by
was done
Ponzer
correctly.
Camkert and second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next. Hold on.
I move we approve item 12O, the approval of additive change order number 1 for commercial roofing systems emergency roof demolition, Thomas Edison Elementary from the emergency fund.
Second.
Yes.
So why, what, do you know what the change order was? What happened? And I understand it's emergency work, so sometimes that happens.
Yeah, the significant challenge that we faced with the Edison demo was the identification of asbestos, and so that materially changed the project scope.
Any other questions? A motion by Vice President Ponzer Camkert and a second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I move we approve item 12P, the ratification of approval of professional services agreement with NCORP for asbestos and lead inspection for a roofing project at Walt Disney Elementary School from the emergency fund. Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Vice President Ponzer Camkert, second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Have it?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Next item.
I move we approve item 12Q, the ratification of approval of professional services agreement for NCORP for asbestos and lead inspection for a roofing project at the district administration building with the emergency fund.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Ponce Camcourt, second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I move that we approve item 12R, the ratification of approval of professional services agreement with ENCOR for the asbestos and lead inspection for the roofing project at Thomas Edison Elementary from the emergency fund.
Second.
Yes, Ms. Khanna.
Mr. Cantwell, just since the money we paid for the roofing people for the asbestos, that 100,000, which is on, which one was that? 12.
That was 12O.
12O. No, 12N, isn't that the demolition section?
yeah.
So does that not, they didn't encompass any type of looking at, what, I guess I'm just questioning is why do we then pay again another company to come in and say, you've got asbestos? Is that what happened? They said you have, and then we had to demolish, and then,
Yeah, so just a reminder also, none of these are actually going to be paid by us in the end. These are things that we have to make the initial payment and then it all goes to our or to our insurance. We've been working very closely with our claims adjusters through this process. So it just is temporarily hitting our books before we get the refund. But to answer your question exactly as you said, is that we have an independent third party who's responsible for testing on the front end and after the encapsulation, ensuring through the process that we're the team that's cleaning it up is not saying, hey, we're doing an A-OK job, but that there's actually the inspection company that's ensuring appropriate remediation.
okay, great, thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
I believe so.
Yes,
that-
Ms. Tabbitt.
The person tests for asbestos, but he doesn't supervise the removal of it too. A separate company does that, correct? Or is he on site at the time?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I'll get back to you.
All right. Any other questions? So can I have a motion on this?
We did.
We did already?
We need to vote on 12R.
Okay, all in favor for 12R, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
I move we approve item 12S, the ratification of approval of professional services agreement for ENCOR for asbestos and lead inspection for roofing project at McKinley Elementary School with the emergency fund.
Second.
A motion by Vice President Ponce Camcourt and a second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I move we approve item 12T, the ratification of approval of professional services agreement ENCOR asbestos and lead inspection for roofing project at Theodore Roosevelt Elementary School with emergency fund dollars.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice President Ponce Camcourt, second by Dr. Weisberg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We're almost there.
That's it.
Okay,
No, we did consent at the beginning.
we did, yes. Well done, everyone. Let's hear it first. Yeah, you thought we don't read consent agenda items. Yes, we
See,
do.
When you're a former high school debater, you know how to read very quickly, all right? I know how to read very quickly out loud.
Thank you.
President Connie, if I can respond to Clerk Tabbitt's question, I did get a real-time response from our incredible Mr. Maxwell, who is indeed watching at home, as I suspected. InCorp provides full-time inspection.
So he was there the whole time?
InCorp, yeah, full-time inspection.
We love you, Dennis. You're the best.
All right, 13A, reports from the board. Dr. Weisberg.
I like it. You sound like you're a vampire when you say my name now. I'm into it.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Quickly. Bloop. I want to thank BHRC for the MLK Day breakfast. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to see my colleagues there and so many electeds. I also wanted to give a shout out to Tiffany Crane, who was our the lawyer who joined us for our Immigration Know Your Rights webinar or Zoom that we had earlier this week. It was extremely well intended. I want to thank all the district staff for jumping on that as quickly as they did. Part of creating a safe space in which our students can learn is making sure that students and parents feel like they understand the law, which is what we talked about in that Zoom. So thanks to everybody for making that happen. And I also wanted to just give a quick shout out. We had 3 BUSD students who spoke at City Council last week in relationship to their resolution. So Renu and Renu and Charlotte from BHS and Julian from Burroughs, the three of you were eloquent and powerful, and you did us proud. So thank you for, advocating. I think there's no higher thing we look for in our students that when you take the things you care about and you advocate for them as eloquently as you did. So kudos to the three of you, and thank you for taking the time to do that, along with some of our BUSD staff who did as well.
Thank you, Dr. Weisberg. Board Member Kano.
Yeah, I would also, again, I got a little bit emotional when I was the other one. But again, I'm super, super proud of this district and how this little district jumped at it. And believe me, I've seen one firsthand right now that is not, that has a large constituency that is really being affected directly by this. And it hasn't jumped the way, we did here in Burbank. So again, congratulations. And I'm not doing this to pat us all the back. It's like, oh no, it's just people have kind of, that have come to me and said, well, it's laws. And so I said, just remember the Heinz dilemma. Just go back to your old college class and think of the Heinz dilemma. There are light laws, and then there's right and wrong and morality. So, and again, like I said, I take my vow really personally in terms of being a teacher. I'm there to protect children, so that's my first. I'd also like to, go on with the Burbank Human Relations Council. The breakfast was wonderful, and a shout out then to Siddhartha Reynolds, starting, just the way he went for that, and he's starting, if you don't know, he is trying to start a nonprofit to support the children affected by the fires, and so I think we've all thought of it from an adult point of view, in terms of, oh my gosh, I look at the Lowe's, they have all the trucks out there and all the insurance and such, and it's, because I'm thinking an adult, and I, really thinking about it from a child's point of view, and what's the thing that's really going to be gone if you don't have a house and you don't have birthday parties? So I just shout out to him. It was very, very.
It's called Sid and Buddies, by the way.
Sid and Buddies, yes, he's starting that. So Sid and Buddies. So.
And for anybody who attended Assemblymember Schultz's community swearing in, he had him speak.
He did. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you do. I don't, because everyone's no. Anything else? Thank you very much, Board Clerk Tabbitt.
Thank you, Board Clerk Tabbitt. I like that. Yes, at the Human Relation Council MLK breakfast. It's a lot of letters there. They very kindly sponsor a essay contest for Burbank students, not just BUSD, but Burbank students. And Burbank Unified, I believe, was well represented in the contest. And the speakers, I'm very proud and impressed of our students and our community member students as well. The first place winner, I believe he was first place, was first or second? He was up there. In his Siddhartha Reynolds is an amazing public speaker for a 12-year-old. Very impressed by him. Not only, as my colleagues have said, did he do the essay contest for Martin Luther King Day, but then he spoke and promoted his nonprofit organization at Assemblymember Schultz's swearing-in ceremony last Saturday. Here is a room with 150 people in it. 50, at least of them, are elected officials, congresswomen and men, and all the way down to entire school board members from Burbank,
of the Burbank School Board
and Glendale, and had and first responders, and there were all kinds of people in this audience. And this young man, I was so proud of him, just sold us. He got up there and spoke, and asked and told what his desires were with his nonprofit, Sid and Buddies, which is sidandbuddies.com if you'd like to go online and donate. Concerned about children who have been affected by the fires missing out on childhood. And his perspective was birthday parties specifically, which I thought, that's pretty cool. Looking back, everyone has a birthday or a birthday party I'm sure they remember having or attending, or, that a 12-year-old child would stop for a minute to think about others, I thought was an impressive big move. And so hopefully maybe we can have him to a board meeting at some point in time. Yes.
Yeah, we can make a certificate and have him come read how many of the students from Burbank at the MLK event when?
Oh, there were several. There were several, and then I remember the one young lady. There was also a young lady from Providence High School.
She was also amazing.
Yes.
Is it possible if we can invite them to our next board meeting and
We can try.
recognize them?
I can extend the invitation.
And have them maybe, how long were they? You remember how long the essays were?
They're really long.
Were they?
Yeah.
Just to acknowledge them, I think, if they were, I mean,
No,
the young lady
they
too.
wrote poems that were honestly really. It wasn't like a short.
So if it's okay with my colleagues, maybe we can reach out to them, see if they can come to our next board meeting, we can acknowledge them. Is that okay?
Yeah,
That's fine.
to acknowledge, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So thank you to Sid and his amazing parents who are very supportive. They came last Saturday, as I said, as they were going to a tennis tournament that Sid is playing in. He's a well-rounded young man, so hopefully we'll hear more from them. January was...
A long year.
It really was. I hope many of our staff members or families that may have had family or friends, as I'm sure we all do, affected by the fires, are finding the support and help that they need. And of course, if we as a school district can do anything, or board members, please reach out. And I hope that February is the shortest year going forward, that things are calm and people are healthy, and that we can all get back to doing the work we need to do to steer our world in the right direction. So thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Ponser Kamkar.
Yeah. I have a couple things. Right after our last meeting, Dr. Agakanian and I both attended Washington's Art Day. Or I saw him, he was leaving as I was going in. And that was when I was, my first year on the board, that was my first school visit as a board member. So I have to go every year. But I really want to thank Laura Vineyard and staff there. She really encourages even teachers who say they're kind of uncomfortable teaching art. I think they found ways to incorporate art into their lessons and teach kids about different art techniques and different artists. And it was just really cool to see. And one of the things that Ms. Vineyard said as we were kind of walking around was just seeing kids that she doesn't always see really engaged in this particular activity. And so I think that will make a real difference for them. I also conducted 2 mock interviews for the NAF Academies in the last week, which was really fun. I'm always thankful to get the chance to do that. And this week was Burbank High students. So I talked to a couple of juniors from Burbank High. And then the other place that I went was not far, but was Disney for their science fair, which was last week. And just really exciting that it continues to grow. They've added engineering. Just saw a lot of really cool stuff. And I think every year my kids say after the science fair that they want to do it. They don't actually go forward with that, but that's okay with me at this point. We're learning a lot just from attending and looking at everyone else's projects. And the last thing I'll say is I'm just, I had kind of a theme of being really proud of our BUSD family. So Dr. Weisberg mentioned the students that came to speak at City Council. I was watching on the live stream and was just really proud of those current students, our former students, really speaking up for our community. I'm really proud of this board. I'm proud of Dr. Weisberg and Dr. Agakanian for going and speaking in service. I also attended Mr. Schultz's assembly swearing in, and it was really exciting to see Sid there. He's a Huerta student, and I think what I had brought my daughter and kind of showing her, like, this is what you can do when you're like a big kid, is you can write essays and talk to a bunch of electeds and get them to give you money for your nonprofit. And it was very cool to see. And just lastly, like, I'm very thankful to staff and cabinet. I know there's been a lot of work lately, especially as it relates to what our community is facing with a new chaotic administration, where not only have you really stepped up to the challenge around immigration and supporting our families who may feel very nervous, but also, like, I know that you are staying on top of all of the various federal mandates coming down and trying to figure out how do we navigate that, right? Our LCAP at this point, the cuts we're having to make, to me, are kind of a best case scenario, because I don't like to be a doomsdayer and say, like, well, who knows what's going to happen with other federal funding, but things feel very uncertain right now, and I want to thank staff for fielding calls, not only from concerned family members but also from me. So thank you. I'm proud of us, guys. Anyway, that's all I got.
Thank you, Vice President Ponsor Kamkar. My colleagues did talk about a couple of these events that we were there at. I do want to thank Principal Wynyard, Washington, and I know you came later, but if you've never been to any of these events, I mean, these kids were not only incredibly talented, but they were very polite. So I loved it. They were asking all the right questions and following their teachers' instructions. I loved it. I did also attend the Burbank Council PTA Reflections Awards, which was fantastic. And thank you for the PTA for putting this together. We had a very good turnout, actually, on the weekend, and a lot of awards were given out. And congratulations to all the winners, all this talent we have in our Burbank Unified. Speaking of talent, so I did attend now Assemblymember Nick Schultz's event, and Burbank was in the house. The national anthem was sang by one of our borough's high school students. A cappella, yes. And then the flags were carried out by Burbank Home Amendment Seapine chapter. Our son was one of the flag carriers. And then, of course, we had Sitata Reynolds speaking so eloquently on stage. And you are right, Clerk Tabbitt, with the room with all the elected officials. He did so well. So congratulations and to him as well and his family. And then also I did go to the Burbank Creative Collective Spring Mixer. This is a wonderful group that they do music. By the way, your favorite person was there from not the Burbank Philharmonica, but
Oh, yay, from the community band?
Yes. Mr. Hawk. Yeah, hi, Mr. Hawk. How are you? He is the best. And the talent there. I mean, they did quartet pieces. And the piano, very difficult pieces, which I was like, wow, And then what else? And I did also attend a couple of other events. Our now council member Audrey Nazarian, as some of you may remember, has been referred. We've referenced it in the past because of the genocide bill and the holiday. So congratulations, now council member Audrey Nazarian. Also, our new assemblywoman Jessica Caloza. And I attended her event as well. Congratulations to her. And of course, my dear friend, our new assembly member Mark Gonzalez, which I also attended his event. And in closing, I also want to wish everyone a happy lunar year, the year of the snake. So happy New Year, everyone. Huh? Oh, yes, I am now going to the retirements. Thank you, Vice President. Oops, sorry. We have a lot of retirements, right? I mean, no, this is a... So, Jackie Davis, Huerta Middle School, counselor, began services at 1995, just retired, congratulations. Tracy Feldman, Luther Middle School, counselor, been there since 94. Michelle Hacking, Luther Middle School, counselor, been there since 1997. Linda Grigorzik, Hart Elementary School, elementary teacher, services since 1990. Deborah Baird, J. Miller Elementary School, teacher, elementary teacher, began her services in 1996. Marla Jo Herman, I hope I said it right, or German? German. Oh, really? Oh. Jefferson Elementary School, elementary teacher. Oh, wow. You have very good memory, by the way, Ms. Tabit. Services in 1991. Wow. Nancy Fitzgerald, Washington Elementary, elementary teacher, started her services in 1997. Kathleen Zupnik, Child Care Center, special ed teacher, preschool, 2008. Patricia Patterson, Huerta Middle School, special ed teacher, services since 1996. Margaret Hess Witaki, Magnolia Park, special ed teacher, 1994. Marla Liddell Johnson, special education, speech therapist, 2008. Darren Wolf, Burbank High School, teacher, 2025. Janet Lamb Ziegler, John Muir Middle School, teacher, 1990. Janice Burrow, Luther Middle School, teacher, 1992. Susan Conway, Luther Middle School, teacher, 1991. Vicky Talheimer, Luther Middle School, teacher, 1990. Sherry Westcott, Luther Middle School, teacher, 1989. And Jamie Reeves, Monterey continuation, teacher, 1986. So, if you notice, most of these retirees were 1990s and up. So this shows their commitment to our schools. We're going to miss you, Ms. Panzer-Kamkar.
Many of these, I believe, were notification for the early notification incentive, right? So they're not done until the end of the year. We're not losing all of these people mid-year, just to be clear. But we have been notified that they will be retiring at the end of the year, and we thank them for their service.
We heard that. What did you say? Yeah, we have no one. What? Ms. Tabit?
Your show.
Oh.
Nothing.
All right, everyone. With that said, meeting is adjourned at, what time is it? 8:31.